The roar of 30,000 voices suddenly fell to a whisper. Security guards straightened their shoulders as black cars with tinted windows rolled through the gates of the All England Lawn Tennis Club. Inside center court, players stopped their warm-up rallies, and spectators turned their heads toward the royal box. Something extraordinary was about to happen. Today wasn't just about tennis. Today, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge would arrive at one of the most dramatic Wimbledon finals in decades, carrying with them a secret that would change the royal family forever. As their car approached the club's entrance, neither William nor Catherine knew that their simple afternoon at the tennis would become a moment that millions would remember for years to come. The championship match was already legendary before it began, but the royal presence would transform it into something magical. Behind the scenes, palace staff worked frantically to coordinate security, media, and protocol, while keeping one crucial detail hidden from the world. The Duchess carried news that would soon shake the monarchy to its core. As the royal couple stepped from their vehicle, the summer sun caught the diamonds in Catherine's earrings, sending sparkles across the perfectly manicured lawns. William adjusted his tie and smiled at the gathering crowd, unaware that photographers were capturing what would become one of the most significant royal images of the decade. This is the story of that remarkable day when tradition met triumph, when royal duty intersected with sporting glory, and when a simple tennis match became the backdrop for a moment that would define a generation. The morning sun painted golden streaks across Kensington Palace's windows as Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, stood before her bedroom mirror, adjusting a delicate pearl necklace. The championship Sunday at Wimbledon promised to be extraordinary, but she carried a secret that made her hands tremble slightly as she fastened the clasp. 3 days earlier, her doctor had confirmed what she had suspected for weeks. The pregnancy test hidden in her jewelry box held life-changing news that only she and William knew. William emerged from the dressing room, straightening his navy blazer. His morning had begun with urgent calls from royal protection officers discussing unprecedented security measures for their Wimbledon appearance. Intelligence reports suggested unusual media attention surrounding their visit, though the reasons remained unclear to palace staff. The Duke ran his fingers through his hair, a nervous habit Catherine had learned to recognize over their years of marriage. "Ready for the madness?" William asked, offering his wife a reassuring smile. The couple had attended Wimbledon dozens of times, but today felt different. The men's singles final featured two rising stars whose rivalry had captivated tennis fans worldwide. More importantly, Catherine's role as patron of the All England Lawn Tennis Club meant she would present the winner's trophy, making their presence essential rather than optional. Downstairs in the palace's private dining room, their breakfast sat mostly untouched. Catherine nibbled on dry toast, fighting waves of morning sickness she couldn't yet explain to their curious staff. William reviewed briefing notes about the day's schedule, unaware that his wife battled nausea with each sip of tea. The couple's protection officers waited nearby, speaking in hushed tones about crowd control and evacuation procedures. Sarah, Catherine's private secretary, burst into the room with unusual urgency. "Your Royal Highnesses, we've received word that media interest today exceeds anything we planned for. International broadcasters have requested additional access, and social media speculation about your appearance has reached unprecedented levels." She paused, studying Catherine's pale complexion with concern. "Perhaps we should consider a more discreet arrival?" Catherine straightened in her chair, summoning the composure that had served her well throughout her royal duties. "Absolutely not. This is Wimbledon's most important day, and we won't hide from our responsibilities." Her voice carried conviction despite the turmoil in her stomach. William reached across the table, squeezing her hand in a gesture of support that photographers would later capture and analyze for hidden meaning. The palace's head of security, Commander James Mitchell, entered with final security protocols. His 20-year career protecting the royal family had taught him to recognize when situations carried unusual weight. Today's briefing included crowd estimates double the normal numbers, with police requesting additional resources for the area surrounding the tennis club. Social media chatter suggested something significant would happen, though intelligence couldn't pinpoint exactly what. "The route to Wimbledon has been cleared, Your Royal Highnesses," Commander Mitchell reported. "We'll have motorcycle escorts and additional vehicles. The club's security team has implemented extra measures around the royal box, and we've coordinated with broadcast security for camera restrictions." He paused, consulting his notes. "One unusual element: we've had requests from international royal correspondents who typically don't cover sporting events." Catherine exchanged a meaningful glance with William. Neither had leaked news of her pregnancy, yet something had triggered extraordinary media attention. Perhaps royal watchers had noticed her recent absence from certain public engagements, or maybe photographers had captured telling moments during their recent appearances. The modern world made keeping royal secrets increasingly difficult. Their personal driver, Thomas, had served the family for 8 years and possessed an uncanny ability to navigate London traffic while maintaining royal protocol. This morning, he inspected the royal vehicle with extra care, checking communication systems and emergency equipment. The route to Wimbledon typically required 45 minutes, but today's security measures would extend their journey significantly. Inside their private apartments, Catherine made final preparations. She selected a cream-colored dress that complemented her complexion while cleverly concealing her still flat stomach. The outfit's elegant simplicity would photograph beautifully while avoiding the fashion speculation that often overshadowed royal appearances. Her choice of jewelry remained minimal: diamond earrings inherited from Princess Diana and her wedding rings. William reviewed last-minute briefing materials about the tennis players they would meet. The men's final featured Carlos Mendoza, a 22-year-old Spanish sensation, against Viktor Petrov, a determined Russian who had overcome career-threatening injuries to reach his first Grand Slam final. The match promised compelling storylines that would captivate global audiences, but the royal presence would add layers of significance to an already dramatic event. The couple's children remained at Kensington Palace under the care of their nanny, Maria. Catherine had kissed each child goodbye with unusual emotion, knowing that her next major public appearance might include announcing their expansion as a family of 5. The thought both thrilled and terrified her, understanding how pregnancy announcements transformed royal watchers' scrutiny of her every appearance and gesture. As departure time approached, Catherine felt her stomach settle slightly. The morning sickness that had plagued her for weeks seemed to recognize the importance of the day ahead. She touched her abdomen briefly, whispering a silent prayer for strength and composure during the hours ahead. William noticed the gesture, but misinterpreted it as nervousness about their high-profile appearance. Palace staff completed final checks of their departure procedures. Press photographers already positioned themselves outside Kensington Palace's gates, hoping to capture images that might reveal clues about the royal couple's unusually anticipated appearance. Social media buzzed with theories ranging from major announcements to surprise celebrity guests at the tennis match. Commander Mitchell received updates from his security team positioned along their route to Wimbledon. Police reported larger-than-normal crowds gathering near the All England Club, with fans hoping to glimpse the royal arrival. The club's management had prepared for increased attention, but struggled to understand the source of such intense interest in what should have been a routine royal appearance. Catherine checked her reflection one final time, ensuring her appearance met the exacting standards expected of royal women at public events. The cream dress photographed elegantly, while remaining appropriately conservative for the traditional tennis venue. Her makeup emphasized natural beauty while providing enough coverage for high-definition television cameras that would analyze every detail. The couple descended to the palace's main entrance where their car waited with engines running. Royal protection officers took their positions in accompanying vehicles while motorcycle escorts prepared to clear their path through London's busy streets. Thomas held the door as William and Catherine settled into the back seat, both carrying the weight of secrets that would soon transform their lives. As her convoy pulled away from Kensington Palace, Catherine gazed out the tinted windows at crowds of well-wishers lining the streets. Many held British flags and signs expressing support for the royal family, unaware that they were witnessing a historic journey. The Duchess placed her hand protectively over her stomach once more, knowing that millions of people around the world would soon share in their joy. The drive through London provided a brief respite from the day's pressures. William and Catherine spoke quietly about the tennis match ahead, carefully avoiding discussion of the pregnancy news that made every public appearance feel monumentally significant. Their security detail maintained constant communication with Wimbledon officials, ensuring seamless coordination for their arrival at one of Britain's most prestigious sporting venues. Traffic parted as their convoy approached central London. Police motorcycles led their procession while crowds gathered along the route, many holding phones to capture images of the royal vehicles. Social media exploded with real-time updates tracking their journey, though none of the eager followers understood the true significance of this particular trip to Wimbledon's championship finale. The convoy approached Wimbledon's historic gates as thousands of tennis fans pressed against security barriers, their cheers growing louder with each passing moment. Catherine felt her pulse quicken, though whether from excitement or morning sickness remained unclear. Through the tinted windows, she could see photographers positioned at every angle, their telephoto lenses ready to capture the royal arrival that had generated unprecedented anticipation across social media platforms worldwide. William squeezed his wife's hand reassuringly as their vehicle slowed near the club's main entrance. Royal protection officers had already swept the area multiple times, establishing secure perimeters while allowing enough public access to maintain Wimbledon's welcoming atmosphere. The All England Lawn Tennis Club's chairman, Robert Harrison, waited with senior staff members, their expressions mixing excitement with nervous energy about hosting royalty during such a high-profile championship final. Commander Mitchell's voice crackled through the car's communication system, providing final security updates as they prepared to emerge into the spotlight. Royal box secured, Your Royal Highnesses. Media positions confirmed, and crowd control measures in place. The club's staff reports everything ready for your arrival. He paused briefly before adding, international coverage appears significantly higher than normal for a tennis final. Thomas expertly positioned the royal vehicle at the designated arrival point, where red carpeting led from the car door to the club's entrance. Catherine took a deep breath, steadying herself for the scrutiny that awaited outside. Her pregnancy remained her secret, but royal watchers possessed an almost supernatural ability to detect changes in royal women's appearances, analyzing everything from clothing choices to walking patterns for hidden meanings. The car door opened, and William stepped out first, straightening his blazer while smiling at the gathered crowd. His presence immediately triggered a wave of camera flashes and excited cheers from tennis fans who had waited hours for this moment. The Duke waved confidently, his years of royal training evident in how naturally he commanded attention while maintaining the dignity expected of his position. Catherine emerged gracefully, her cream dress catching the afternoon sunlight perfectly as photographers captured hundreds of images within seconds. The crowd's cheers intensified, with many calling out personal messages of support and admiration. She smiled warmly while walking carefully across the red carpet, her hand briefly touching her abdomen in a gesture so subtle that only the most observant photographers might notice. Robert Harrison stepped forward with practiced royal protocol, bowing appropriately before greeting the Duke and Duchess. Your Royal Highnesses, welcome to what promises to be an extraordinary championship final. The players and spectators are honored by your presence on this historic day. His words carried genuine warmth, though he seemed puzzled by the unusual media attention surrounding their arrival. Inside the club's elegant reception area, Catherine accepted a glass of water instead of the offered champagne, a choice that didn't go unnoticed by sharp-eyed royal correspondents watching through telephoto lenses. William engaged in conversation with tournament officials while keeping a protective eye on his wife, whose complexion remained slightly pale despite her composed demeanor. The morning's nausea had subsided, but Pregnancy's unpredictable nature made every public moment potentially challenging. Tennis legends John McEnroe and Martina Navratilova waited to meet the royal couple, their presence adding even more significance to an already star-studded event. McEnroe, known for his outspoken personality, seemed unusually respectful as he discussed the day's final with William. Navratilova engaged Catherine in conversation about women's tennis development, unaware that the Duchess fought waves of fatigue that pregnancy had brought to her daily routine. The club's head groundskeeper, David Matthews, proudly showed the royal couple center court's pristine condition through large windows overlooking the championship venue. The grass appeared absolutely perfect, each blade precisely cut to regulation height. 28 years I've been preparing courts for championships, Your Royal Highnesses, but today feels special. The atmosphere is electric, and having you here for the trophy presentation makes it truly memorable. Catherine nodded appreciatively while gripping the window ledge slightly for support. The combination of pregnancy hormones and public pressure created a delicate balancing act that required all her strength and training. William noticed her subtle gesture and moved closer, offering silent support without drawing attention to her momentary difficulty. Their partnership had developed an almost telepathic understanding during years of royal duties. Security personnel maintained discreet positions throughout the club's interior spaces while allowing normal operations to continue. Royal protection required careful balance between safety and accessibility, especially at public events where tradition demanded interaction with spectators and officials. Commander Mitchell coordinated seamlessly with Wimbledon security team, ensuring royal safety without disrupting the tournament's celebrated atmosphere. Television commentators began discussing the royal arrival with obvious excitement, though none understood the true significance of Catherine's presence at today's championship. International broadcasters had requested additional coverage of royal activities, sensing something newsworthy beyond a routine sporting appearance. Social media exploded with real-time photos and speculation about why this particular Wimbledon visit had generated such extraordinary attention. The couple toured the club's museum, where Catherine showed particular interest in exhibits featuring previous royal visits to Wimbledon. Queen Elizabeth's numerous appearances were well documented, creating a legacy of royal involvement with Britain's premier tennis championship. Catherine studied photographs of past royal trophy presentations, knowing she would soon add her own historic moment to this distinguished tradition. William discussed the day's match with former champions who had gathered for the final. Carlos Mendoza's incredible journey from Spanish poverty to Wimbledon glory resonated with the Duke's understanding of overcoming challenges. Viktor Petrov's comeback from career-threatening injuries demonstrated the resilience that William admired in both sport and life. The match promised compelling narratives that would captivate audiences far beyond tennis fans. As departure time for center court approached, Catherine excused herself to the ladies' room, where she could finally acknowledge the morning sickness that had required supreme effort to conceal. Royal women learned early to maintain composure regardless of personal discomfort, but pregnancy presented unique challenges that demanded creative solutions. She refreshed her makeup and took several deep breaths before rejoining William for their entrance to the championship venue. Palace Press Secretary Amanda Richardson fielded increasingly specific questions from royal correspondents who seemed convinced that today's appearance carried special significance. Her careful non-answers only fueled more speculation, creating a media frenzy that threatened to overshadow the tennis championship itself. Royal watchers analyzed every detail of Catherine's appearance, searching for clues about why this particular event had generated such intense interest. The club's catering staff prepared special refreshments for the royal box, including Catherine's preferred sparkling water and light snacks that might help settle her queasy stomach. Royal dietary requirements were always accommodated with meticulous attention to detail, though today's request seemed particularly focused on simple, bland options that wouldn't trigger nausea. Staff members noted the unusual preferences, but maintained professional discretion. Prince William reviewed his notes about the trophy presentation ceremony, ensuring he understood protocol for congratulating the winner and runner-up. The Duchess would present the championship trophy, a responsibility she had fulfilled multiple times with grace and dignity. Today's ceremony carried additional weight due to the match's significance and the unusual media attention surrounding their appearance at Wimbledon's premier event. Security cleared their path to center court as thousands of spectators took their seats for the championship final. The royal box filled with distinguished guests, including government officials, business leaders, and tennis luminaries who had gathered to witness what promised to be an epic conclusion to 2 weeks of world-class competition. Catherine's pregnancy secret remained safe, but the pressure of maintaining royal composure while battling morning sickness tested every aspect of her training. The couple prepared for their formal entrance to center court, where 30,000 spectators and millions of television viewers worldwide would watch their every move. Catherine touched her wedding rings nervously, drawing strength from the symbols of her partnership with William. Together, they would navigate whatever challenges the afternoon presented while maintaining the dignity and grace expected of their royal positions. Royal protocol officers provided final instructions as the championship finals start time approached. The Duke and Duchess would enter center court during a brief ceremony acknowledging their presence before play began. Catherine's role as tournament patron made her participation essential, while William's support provided the strength she needed to fulfill her duties despite pregnancy's challenging symptoms. As they prepared to leave the club's private areas for their public appearance on center court, Catherine felt a moment of calm confidence. The nausea had subsided temporarily, and her training as a royal woman had prepared her for exactly these kinds of high-pressure situations. Whatever the afternoon held, she would meet it with the grace and composure that had defined her approach to royal duty since marrying into the British royal family. The doors to center court opened as 30,000 spectators rose to their feet in thunderous applause. Catherine felt the familiar surge of adrenaline that accompanied major royal appearances, though today the sensation mixed with pregnancy hormones in ways that made her feel both energized and slightly overwhelmed. She walked beside William with practiced elegance, her smile radiant despite the secret she carried and the morning's earlier struggles with nausea. The royal box occupied the prime position overlooking center court's perfectly manicured grass, where the championship final would soon unfold between two extraordinary athletes. Catherine acknowledged the crowd's warm reception with graceful waves while carefully managing her steps down the narrow stairs to their seats. Royal protection officers maintained discreet positions nearby, their presence providing security without interfering with the tournament's traditional atmosphere. Television cameras captured every detail of the royal arrival from multiple angles, broadcasting their entrance to viewers in over 200 countries worldwide. Royal correspondents provided commentary about Catherine's appearance, noting her radiant complexion and elegant choice of cream-colored attire. None suspected that pregnancy contributed to her particularly luminous appearance, a detail that millions of viewers would later remember when the news finally broke. William settled into his seat with visible relief at completing their public entrance successfully. The couple had attended countless high-profile events together, but today's unusual media attention created additional pressure that both felt acutely. He studied the championship finals program while keeping a protective eye on Catherine, whose pregnancy remained their closely guarded secret despite growing media speculation about their appearance. The players emerged from the locker rooms to deafening cheers as Carlos Mendoza and Viktor Petrov prepared for tennis's most prestigious championship match. Both athletes had overcome tremendous obstacles to reach this moment, their stories resonating with spectators who appreciated the dedication required to achieve sporting excellence. Catherine watched their warm-up routines with genuine interest, her patron role with the All England Club having deepened her appreciation for tennis at its highest level. Royal protocol required the Duke and Duchess to meet both players before the match began, a tradition that added ceremony to Wimbledon's championship finals. Catherine rose gracefully from her seat, fighting a momentary wave of dizziness that pregnancy had made increasingly common during public appearances. She gripped the royal boxes, railing briefly for support, while maintaining her composed public demeanor. Carlos Mendoza approached the royal box with obvious nervousness about meeting royalty before the biggest match of his career. The 22-year-old Spaniard had grown up in poverty, his tennis development funded by community donations and his mother's sacrifices. Catherine spoke with him in fluent Spanish, immediately putting him at ease while expressing genuine admiration for his inspiring journey to Wimbledon's championship final. "Your story reminds us all that dreams can become reality through dedication and perseverance," Catherine told Mendoza warmly. Her words carried special meaning, given her own recent news about expanding their family, though the connection remained her private knowledge. The young player beamed with pride at receiving such personal encouragement from the Duchess before tennis's most important match of his life. Viktor Petrov presented a striking contrast to his younger opponent, the 28-year-old Russian, having overcome career-threatening injuries that nearly ended his professional tennis dreams. William engaged him in conversation about resilience and determination, qualities the Duke deeply admired after his own military service and royal duties. Petrov's comeback story embodied the fighting spirit that made Wimbledon finals so compelling beyond mere athletic competition. The pre-match ceremony concluded as both players returned to their preparation routines, leaving the royal box to await the championship finals opening serve. Catherine accepted another glass of sparkling water while declining offered snacks, her careful dietary choices throughout the day helping manage pregnancy symptoms that could have disrupted her royal duties. Palace staff had discreetly coordinated refreshment options that would support her condition without revealing its existence. Wimbledon's chairman delivered traditional remarks acknowledging the royal presence and the significance of hosting such an extraordinary championship final. His words carried genuine appreciation for Catherine's patronage of the club, which had elevated the tournament's international profile during her tenure. The crowd responded with sustained applause that demonstrated their affection for the Duke and Duchess's regular support of British tennis. Television commentators discussed the unusual excitement surrounding today's royal appearance, though none could identify specific reasons for the heightened media attention. Social media speculation ranged from major announcements to surprise celebrity guests, creating a buzz that enhanced the championship final's already electric atmosphere. Royal watchers analyzed every gesture and expression, searching for clues about why this particular Wimbledon visit had generated such extraordinary interest. As the players completed their warm-up routines, Catherine felt her stomach settle into a more comfortable state that would allow her to focus on the tennis match ahead. The morning's nausea had largely subsided, though she remained cautious about sudden movements that might trigger renewed discomfort. Her experience managing royal duties while pregnant with her previous children provided valuable knowledge for navigating today's public appearance. The umpire called for play to begin as 30,000 spectators fell silent in anticipation of the first serve. Catherine leaned forward slightly in her seat, genuinely excited to witness what promised to be an epic battle between two exceptional athletes. Her role as tournament patron made her presence meaningful beyond mere ceremonial duty, representing the royal family's genuine commitment to supporting British tennis at its highest level. Mendoza stepped to the baseline for his opening service game, his nervousness evident despite the encouraging words from the Duchess minutes earlier. The young Spaniard had dreamed of this moment since childhood, when his family could barely afford proper tennis equipment. His journey from Spanish poverty to Wimbledon's championship final embodied the dreams that made sports so compelling for spectators worldwide. The first serve whistled past Petrov at 130 miles per hour, immediately establishing the match's high level of play that would captivate viewers for the next several hours. Catherine applauded appreciatively, her genuine enthusiasm for tennis evident despite the personal challenges of maintaining royal composure while managing early pregnancy symptoms that remained her closely guarded secret. William studied both players' tactical approaches with the analytical mind that had served him well in military training and royal duties. Tennis strategy fascinated him, particularly at championship level, where mental strength often determined outcomes more than pure athletic ability. Today's final promised exceptional quality that would reward careful observation of how elite athletes performed under maximum pressure. The Royal Box provided perfect views of center court's action, allowing Catherine to appreciate subtle tactical adjustments that separated championship tennis from ordinary matches. Her patronage role had educated her about tennis techniques and strategies, making her more than a ceremonial presence at important tournaments. She understood the physical and mental demands that made Wimbledon victories so meaningful for professional athletes. Security personnel maintained vigilant watch over the Royal Box, while allowing normal spectator interactions that preserved Wimbledon's traditional atmosphere. Royal protection required balancing safety concerns with public access expectations, particularly during major events where tradition demanded royal engagement with tennis officials and distinguished guests. Commander Mitchell coordinated seamlessly with tournament security to ensure comprehensive coverage without disrupting the championship experience. The opening games revealed exceptional quality from both players as Mendoza and Petrov traded powerful serves and brilliant ground strokes that drew appreciative cheers from the knowledgeable Wimbledon crowd. Catherine found herself genuinely absorbed by the tennis action, temporarily forgetting the morning's struggles with pregnancy symptoms as she watched two athletes perform at the pinnacle of their sport. Royal correspondents continued analyzing every aspect of the Duke and Duchess's appearance, searching for explanations for the unusual media attention surrounding today's tennis final. Catherine's choice to wear cream colors sparked fashion commentary, while William's relaxed demeanor suggested confidence about whatever had generated such speculation. Neither revealed any obvious clues about the pregnancy news that would soon transform their public narrative. The match's intensity steadily increased as both players recognized the historic significance of competing for Wimbledon's championship trophy in front of royalty and a global television audience. Catherine felt pride in her patronage role, knowing that royal support elevated tennis tournaments beyond mere sporting competitions into cultural celebrations that united people worldwide through shared appreciation for athletic excellence and human achievement. As the first set progressed toward its conclusion, Catherine experienced renewed confidence in her ability to fulfill today's royal duties despite pregnancy's unpredictable challenges. The nausea had remained manageable, and her training in maintaining composure under pressure proved invaluable for navigating such a high-profile public appearance while carrying life-changing news that would soon reshape their family's future in wonderful ways. The championship match reached its climactic third set as both players displayed the extraordinary athleticism that had carried them to Wimbledon's greatest stage. Catherine found herself completely absorbed by the tennis action, her earlier pregnancy discomfort temporarily forgotten amid the drama unfolding on center court's pristine grass. Each point brought gasps from 30,000 spectators who recognized they were witnessing something truly special. Carlos Mendoza's powerful forehand repeatedly found the corners of the court with precision that seemed impossible under such enormous pressure. The young Spaniard's journey from childhood poverty to tennis greatness provided inspiration that transcended sport, reminding viewers worldwide that dreams could indeed become reality through unwavering determination. Catherine felt particular connection to his story, knowing how unexpected blessings could transform lives in the most wonderful ways. Viktor Petrov responded with the tactical brilliance that had defined his comeback from career-threatening injuries. The Russian veteran's court craft and mental toughness demonstrated why experience often trumped youth in tennis's biggest moments. William admired Petrov's resilience, recognizing similarities to challenges he had faced in military service where perseverance determined success more than natural talent or favorable circumstances. The Royal Box provided perfect acoustics for hearing the players' intense breathing and occasional tactical discussions during changeovers. Catherine listened with genuine fascination as both athletes revealed the mental processes that separated championship tennis from ordinary matches. Her patronage role had deepened her appreciation for tennis at its highest level, making her more than a ceremonial presence at important tournaments. Security personnel maintained discreet vigilance while allowing the royal couple to interact naturally with distinguished guests seated nearby in the royal box. Former champions and tennis legends shared insights about the match's tactical developments, creating an atmosphere of shared appreciation for exceptional athletic performance. Commander Mitchell coordinated seamlessly with tournament officials to ensure royal safety without disrupting Wimbledon's traditional ambience. Television cameras occasionally panned to the royal box, capturing Catherine's animated reactions to brilliant shots and dramatic rallies. Her genuine enthusiasm for tennis shone through despite the morning's earlier struggles with pregnancy symptoms that remained her carefully guarded secret. Viewers worldwide appreciated seeing royalty display authentic emotion rather than merely fulfilling ceremonial obligations with distant politeness. The crowd's energy intensified as the third set moved toward its conclusion, with neither player able to secure a decisive advantage. Both Mendoza and Petrov had elevated their games to championship level, creating tennis theater that would be remembered long after today's conclusion. Catherine felt privileged to witness such extraordinary competition while fulfilling her patron duties during one of sport's most prestigious events. Royal correspondents continued analyzing every detail of the Duke and Duchess's appearance, searching for explanations for the unprecedented media attention surrounding today's championship final. Social media speculation reached fever pitch as tennis fans and royal watchers attempted to decode hidden meanings in gesture and expression. Neither William nor Catherine provided obvious clues about the pregnancy news that would soon reshape their public narrative. Palace communications staff fielded increasingly specific questions about potential announcements related to the royal family's future plans. Press Secretary Amanda Richardson's careful non-answers only fueled more intense speculation, creating a media storm that threatened to overshadow the tennis championship itself. Royal watchers possessed almost supernatural ability to detect when significant news was brewing within palace walls. The medical team stationed nearby, Center Court, remained on standby for any player injuries, though both Mendoza and Petrov appeared physically capable of maintaining their exceptional level throughout the match's duration. Catherine watched their athletic conditioning with admiration, knowing how dedication to fitness and preparation enabled such sustained excellence under enormous pressure. Her own recent focus on health and nutrition had taken on new significance with pregnancy confirmation. Wimbledon's catering staff prepared refreshments for the royal box's distinguished occupants, including Catherine's preferred sparkling water and light snacks that helped manage her carefully concealed morning sickness. Royal dietary requirements were always accommodated with meticulous attention to detail, though today's requests seemed particularly focused on simple options that wouldn't trigger nausea during extended public appearances. The fourth set began with both players displaying increased urgency as they recognized the match's decisive phase was approaching. Catherine felt her own energy levels fluctuate in ways that pregnancy had made increasingly common, though her training in maintaining royal composure provided tools for managing personal discomfort while fulfilling public duties. William remained attentively supportive without drawing attention to her subtle struggles. Tennis strategy became increasingly sophisticated as both players made tactical adjustments designed to gain crucial advantages in the championship's closing stages. William analyzed their approaches with the methodical thinking that had served him well in military training and royal responsibilities. The mental chess match between elite athletes fascinated him, particularly when physical skills were so evenly matched. The crowd responded to every point with increasing excitement as they realized they were witnessing a championship final that would be discussed for decades. Catherine felt genuine pride in her patronage role, knowing that royal support elevated tennis tournaments into cultural celebrations that united global audiences through shared appreciation for athletic excellence and human achievement under pressure. Royal protection officers coordinated with tournament security for the trophy presentation ceremony that would conclude the day's festivities. Catherine's role in presenting the championship trophy represented one of her most visible patron duties, requiring grace and dignity while cameras captured every moment for international broadcast. Today's ceremony carried additional significance due to unprecedented media attention surrounding their Wimbledon appearance. The medical staff positioned near the royal box maintained discreet readiness for any complications that might arise during extended public appearances, though Catherine's experience managing royal duties while pregnant with previous children provided confidence for navigating today's challenges. Her careful preparation and dietary management had helped minimize pregnancy symptoms that could have disrupted important ceremonial responsibilities. Technology teams prepared broadcast equipment for extensive coverage of the trophy presentation, with international networks requesting additional access beyond normal tournament protocols. The ceremony would be watched by hundreds of millions of viewers worldwide, making Catherine's role in congratulating the winner a moment of global significance. Royal protocol officers rehearsed procedures to ensure flawless execution during the championship's climactic conclusion. The fifth set loomed as both players demonstrated the physical and mental resources necessary for tennis's ultimate test of endurance and skill. Catherine felt her own stamina being tested by pregnancy's unpredictable effects, combined with the pressure of maintaining royal composure during such an intensely scrutinized public appearance. Her determination to fulfill patron duties with excellence motivated her through moments of discomfort. Spectators sensed they were witnessing tennis history as Mendoza and Petrov prepared for the championship's decisive set. The atmosphere in center court reached levels of excitement that veteran tennis fans would remember for the rest of their lives. Catherine shared their anticipation while managing the complex balancing act of pregnancy symptoms, royal protocol, and genuine enthusiasm for witnessing exceptional athletic performance. William provided subtle support through their partnership's practiced understanding of managing challenging public situations together. His military training had prepared him for high-pressure scenarios where composure determined outcomes, skills that translated perfectly to royal duties where personal struggles must never compromise public responsibilities. Together, they would navigate whatever the final set brought while maintaining the dignity expected of their positions. The championship trophy waited nearby, polished to perfection and ready for presentation to whichever player emerged victorious from tennis's most prestigious tournament. Catherine would soon hold that historic trophy while congratulating a champion whose victory would be remembered forever, adding another meaningful moment to her growing legacy as one of Britain's most beloved royal patrons. The final set reached its breathtaking conclusion as Carlos Mendoza unleashed a devastating forehand winner down the line that sealed his first Wimbledon championship. 30,000 spectators erupted in thunderous applause while the young Spaniard collapsed to the grass in disbelief. His childhood dreams finally realized on tennis's grandest stage. Catherine felt tears welling in her eyes as she watched the emotional celebration, her pregnancy hormones amplifying the already powerful moment. Viktor Petrov approached the net with the grace that had defined his remarkable comeback journey, embracing his opponent with genuine warmth despite his own disappointment. The Russian veteran's sportsmanship embodied the values that made Wimbledon special beyond mere athletic competition. William stood to applaud both players, recognizing the extraordinary effort required to compete at such an elite level under enormous global pressure. Royal protocol officers coordinated with tournament officials for the trophy presentation ceremony that would conclude the championship festivities. Catherine would soon fulfill one of her most visible patron duties, presenting the championship trophy to Mendoza while cameras captured every moment for international broadcast. Her role carried special significance during a match that millions would remember as one of Wimbledon's greatest finals. The Duchess rose gracefully from her royal box seat, fighting a momentary wave of dizziness that pregnancy had made increasingly common during extended public appearances. She gripped William's arm briefly for support while maintaining her composed public demeanor. Their partnerships practiced understanding, helping navigate challenging moments without drawing unwanted attention. Together, they prepared for the ceremony's spotlight. Tournament officials escorted the royal couple onto center court's sacred grass, where both players waited with obvious emotion about receiving recognition from British royalty. Catherine walked carefully across the lawn while managing pregnancy symptoms that required constant vigilance during public duties. Her training in maintaining royal composure provided essential tools for fulfilling ceremonial responsibilities regardless of personal discomfort. The championship trophy gleamed in afternoon sunlight as Catherine prepared for the presentation that would create lasting memories for the winner and global television audiences. Her role as tournament patron made this moment meaningful beyond ceremonial duty, representing genuine royal support for tennis excellence. The weight of tradition and expectation focused intensely on the next few minutes. Carlos Mendoza approached the presentation area with tears streaming down his face, his emotional state reflecting the magnitude of achieving his greatest dream. Catherine spoke with him warmly in Spanish, congratulating his victory while acknowledging the inspiring journey that had brought him from childhood poverty to Wimbledon glory. Her genuine enthusiasm for his accomplishment shone through despite pregnancy fatigue. Your victory today proves that dreams can become reality through dedication and perseverance, Catherine told Mendoza as she prepared to present the trophy. Her words carried special meaning given her own recent news about expanding their family, though that connection remained her private knowledge. The young champion beamed with pride at receiving such personal encouragement from the Duchess. The ceremony proceeded with flawless precision as Catherine lifted the championship trophy and presented it to Mendoza amid deafening cheers from spectators and millions of television viewers worldwide. The moment crystallized years of preparation and sacrifice into pure joy that transcended language and cultural barriers. Royal photography captured images that would define this Wimbledon championship for decades to come. William congratulated Viktor Petrov with heartfelt appreciation for his remarkable comeback story and gracious defeat in tennis's most important final. The Duke's military background provided understanding of how champions respond to both victory and disappointment with equal dignity. Their conversation reflected mutual respect between men who had faced significant challenges in their respective fields. Television commentators described the ceremony with obvious emotion, recognizing they had witnessed something truly special at the intersection of sport and tradition. International broadcasters provided coverage that reached unprecedented global audiences, with many noting Catherine's radiant appearance and genuine enthusiasm for tennis excellence. None suspected that pregnancy contributed to her particularly luminous complexion. The crowd remained on their feet throughout the extended celebration as both players acknowledged spectators who had provided incredible support during nearly 4 hours of championship tennis. Catherine felt deep satisfaction in her patron role, knowing that royal presence elevated tournaments into cultural celebrations that united people worldwide through appreciation for athletic achievement and human determination. Royal correspondents noted every detail of the Duke and Duchess's participation in the ceremony, though they remained puzzled by the unprecedented media attention that had surrounded today's appearance. Social media exploded with photographs and video clips that would be analyzed endlessly by royal watchers searching for clues about why this particular Wimbledon visit had generated such extraordinary interest. Palace communications staff prepared for the inevitable questions about future royal family plans that would follow such a high-profile appearance. Press Secretary Amanda Richardson coordinated responses that would satisfy media curiosity without revealing the pregnancy news that remained closely guarded. The timing of any announcement would be carefully planned to maximize positive impact. Security personnel coordinated the royal couple's departure from center court as spectators continued celebrating Mendoza's historic victory. Catherine walked slowly across the grass while managing pregnancy symptoms that had tested her endurance throughout the afternoon. Her successful fulfillment of patron duties despite personal challenges demonstrated the grace under pressure that defined her approach to royal responsibilities. The trophy presentation concluded with traditional photographs that captured the championship's historic significance. Catherine stood beside Mendoza while he held the trophy aloft, her smile genuine despite the fatigue that pregnancy had brought to extended public appearances. These images would represent one of tennis's greatest moments while secretly documenting a significant day in royal family history. As they prepared to leave center court, Catherine felt a powerful sense of accomplishment about successfully managing her patron duties while carrying the secret that would soon transform their family. The afternoon's challenges had tested every aspect of her royal training, but she had maintained composure and grace throughout one of sport's most prestigious events. William provided protective support as they walked toward the exit, his military training evident in how naturally he anticipated and addressed potential difficulties. Their partnership had developed almost telepathic understanding during years of royal duties that required seamless coordination under public scrutiny. Today's success strengthened their confidence about handling future challenges together. The royal couple paused to thank tournament officials and volunteers who had made their Wimbledon experience so memorable. Catherine's genuine appreciation for their efforts reflected her understanding that royal patronage required more than ceremonial appearances. Building relationships with people who dedicated themselves to excellence created meaningful connections that enhanced her effectiveness in supporting important causes. Spectators continued cheering as the Duke and Duchess disappeared into the club's private areas. Their successful public appearance, concluding without anyone suspecting the pregnancy news that had made today especially significant. Catherine felt relief at completing her duties successfully, while looking forward to the moment when they could share their joy with the world. The drive back to Kensington Palace would provide opportunity to decompress from the afternoon's intense public scrutiny while reflecting on Mendoza's inspiring victory and Petrov's gracious sportsmanship. Both players had demonstrated qualities that made tennis compelling beyond mere athletic competition, embodying values that resonated with royal family members who understood the importance of perseverance and dignity under pressure. As their convoy prepared for departure, Catherine touched her abdomen gently while gazing back at center court, where thousands of spectators continued celebrating. Today had marked another successful chapter in her patron role, while secretly beginning a new phase of their family life that would bring immeasurable joy. The future held wonderful possibilities that made every challenge worthwhile. The royal departure generated final waves of camera flashes and cheers from tennis fans who had been privileged to witness an extraordinary championship enhanced by genuine royal support. Catherine and William settled into their car for the journey home, both carrying memories of a perfect afternoon that had combined sporting excellence with royal duty in ways that created lasting magic for everyone involved.